Welcome to the traffic jamming series of bicycle videos by world-renowned bicycle tourist and commuter Joey Brooks. Today we look at a darker side of bicycle commuting, a controversial subject among cyclists of all persuasions. The topic today is advanced city red light running. Failing to stop for a red traffic signal is against the law just about everywhere, so you probably shouldn't do it. But if, like many city cyclists, you have found that it is dangerous as well as unnecessary to stop and wait at every signal while breathing a toxic soup from vehicle exhaust pipes, then sit back and enjoy this tutorial as you may more safely disregard those pesky traffic signals while riding your bicycle for work or pleasure. Let's start our lesson with a very simple scenario. No traffic, no pedestrians, a nice wide boulevard, and we're approaching a one-way street at a red traffic signal. Traffic will be crossing from right to left as shown by the arrow at a low rate of speed, hopefully, and a blind intersection is created by the corner of that building. You definitely do not want to be speeding through a red light in the lane marked with the X, so veer over far left as you can, remembering no traffic coming up behind, and start looking right at the corner of the building as soon as you can for any approaching vehicles. Once you realize the coast is clear, just continue on, move back over to the right as far as you feel comfortable, and on to the next scenario. This is a slightly more complex scenario as the light turns red due to traffic and pedestrians moving about. I'm riding down the center double yellow line as that gives me the most room to maneuver should things happen unexpectedly. Definitely do not want to be in the zone between doors flying open and pedestrians lurching out from the side. That arrow shows the car that has now the right of way and a green light that will be crossing. I scan for pedestrians across that line and look down the road for traffic coming in the opposing lane, and everything is clear there. So I simply swing outward, give the car with the green light all the room he needs, and then roll right back in nice and smooth into the correct lane of travel. Seems very slow in slow motion, but this is what it will look like, all happening at once at real-time speed. Here's another example of that swing out move on a nice wide street. You can see the cars there have the green light right of way. Light just turned red, so I swing around before they can even get moving. Don't give them an opportunity to whack me from the right. This is one of my favorite clips, watching that light go yellow to red. I know that my sight line's blocked to the right from experience, so I move all the way left. As my eyes go right, I'm looking just at the edge of that post. That's where I'm going to be able to see what traffic's coming, and if I keep my momentum up as long as possible and stay out of that lane with the X on it, I'll be able to find a gap in traffic and just continue right on through, almost as if I had a green light. And this one is definitely worth seeing in real time motion. You don't have a whole lot of time to think, and when you see that gap, there's a split-second decision-making process where you're either going to stop for the red or hit that gap. This clip brings a lot of elements together, pedestrians and traffic possibilities. The main message here, though, is to use the entire street as much as possible. From arrow tip to arrow tip is the safe zone. A lot of room to maneuver in there most of the time. Not a lot of surprises. You want to try to avoid that X zone, though, even though legally you're supposed to ride there. Too many bad things can happen to you. Doors opening, cars turning right, pedestrians lurching out from in between traffic. Putting it in motion, we'll move all the way to the left of the open lane. That keeps the cars on the right from having a shot at us. And continue on, slip in behind that car who finally got started, then all the way to the right curb to squeeze in behind the last car in that short line. Here's a creative way to make an illegal left turn and run a red light at the same time. We're going to not do any of that, what that line says. We're going to go contraflow here, which is extremely dangerous. Got to watch for cars turning right oncoming, but no such thing. we can disregard those guys because we're already past them. No cars are in the turning lane and no pedestrians about. Look right, first car's turning right, second car is in the center lane. So we're going to proceed on in the left lane, let that car have his center lane, and off we go again. Now, this intersection is a no left turn intersection anyway, and it's easy to make a left on a red or a green here. That arrow is how a car would do it if they were going to make an illegal left turn. Well, we're not going to follow that arrow. We're just going to cut across at an angle and hardly even break stride. This is a great sequence to show you that what the law says you should do is not necessarily right. They say in this situation you probably should go as far right as safety permits. Well, to me, I know very well on this stretch that that would be the left lane. You would definitely not want to be anywhere around that red X in the lane, nor would you want to be splitting the lanes on that particular line on this day. As we set this into motion, you'll start to see why. A lot of pedestrians about, also taxi cabs and other people dropping off customers and fares at hotels on the right. So we're just going to stay in this left lane and avoid that right lane altogether. As we run this next light and clear these cars, you'll see the story start to unfold up here. There's a knucklehead walking right down in the road. Why he's not on the sidewalk, who knows. Then we've got this white car blocking the whole lane and the center stripe. Then we find the real meathead who's causing the trouble with his door open out in the street, parked in the right lane. So we just stay in this left lane, split the lanes up here. Oh, it's slow moving vehicles that can't get out of their own way. Finally, we've got this taxi cab. He might come my way. I watch his front wheel to make sure it doesn't move, and it doesn't, and we just proceed along. In this clip, a cyclist appears ahead of me and seems to know what he's doing. He avoids that right-hand gutter, passes a pedestrian. Taxi cab wants my lane. I give it to him. No hard feelings. As you watch the cyclist up ahead, he takes the line of death and inconvenience all the way to the right, and then has to wait for the whole line of traffic to pass him as I split the lane to the left and get to squeeze in behind the last vehicle as he waits patiently for that vehicle to give a turn signal, which he does not. Stay in the left lane. Obviously it's clear. Got another red light up here. It's all clear. Shoot through that. Move to the right. Split the lane between the two cars that are not moving. And at this point I don't notice the light turns green, so I give that SUV plenty of room to make a right turn, even though he probably had a red. Even on the occasion when you just flat out catch the red light and you can't find a gap or dare go in front of a bunch of vehicles, you still don't have to come to a dead stop and wait for that light. Just mosey your way on behind them, swing around. You'll notice the cars there are still waiting for the light. Pick a gap, and down the road you go while everyone's sitting there waiting. Save a couple of seconds anyways. Now here's another example of the same thing. Cyclist puts his foot down. I don't. Swing around to the back end of the cars, and down the road we go. Get out of the door zone as quick as you can if you end up on that right side edge. And with a little practice of these methods, time seems to slow down a bit. You very quickly learn that the faster you go, the less of a gap you need to squeeze through, and it gets easier and easier as your timing gets better. Luck and magic happen like this once in a while, where you can just go corner to corner, curb to curb, and make both lanes happen. Now that you have a pretty good visual idea of what my red light running techniques are, you should visit joeybike.blogspot.com for more detailed written explanations of that and a whole lot more. Until then, we'll leave you with some red light running and some Mozart.